Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our webinar, Mobile Rich Media, Ready for Prime Time. Before we get started, I'd like to provide some logistical information about today's webinar. Since this is the recorded version of the webinar, please feel free to email me at estevens@marketron.com with any follow-up questions or requests. The webinar will last approximately 30 minutes. Now I'd like to introduce today's speaker. Mark Edwards leads the brand practice at Marketron Mobile and is charged with infusing mobility into brand and agency initiatives. By forging strategic partnerships with leading broadcast companies, testing new technologies, and educating clients and colleagues on the importance of mobility. Mark has worked closely with many clients across various business verticals, including QSR, beverage, entertainment, professional sports, CPG, retail, tech, and B2B. Brands include names like Heineken, Arby's, Minnesota Vikings, Evian, Frito-Lay, Xbox, and Pepsi. Now I'm going to hand the controls over to Mark.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it. And thank you for joining our webinar today. This is more in almost a response to a lot of our clients nationwide that have been asking for more and more information regarding mobile-rich media. So really look at today as an education process, and that's how we're really going to handle it. It'll be a very relaxed call and just kind of running through some demos and trends and really the evolution of the entire medium as a whole. So you have all of the information as far as your webinar guide on the side, so you're welcome to fill out any questions that you might have throughout, and we'll answer those at the end. If this is the recorded version, then obviously feel free to follow up with Emily or myself with any questions, and we'll definitely get back to you. Okay? So let's kick it off, and before I even jump off, let me run through real quickly. Sorry, I jumped ahead on you there. Let's jump into the evolution of mobile-rich media, okay? And really all of this really kicked off at the launch of the iPhone back in 2007, okay? This was really the first time that we had relevant media consumption devices basically armed with HTML5 and JavaScript capabilities, really making a case for mobile-rich media. These two items were what launched really even the potential that this might happen down the road. And it's hard to believe that this was just 5 or 6 years ago when we look in retrospect. One of the things that we established very early was Adobe really had some problems as far as integrating Flash into this ecosystem. So it quickly became apparent that we were going to have to adapt to basically a flashless climate as we move forward within this particular medium. The other big opportunity that ended up happening was in 2008, the App Store was opened, okay? And obviously we know quite a bit about the iTunes Store, and I think we're well past 30 billion downloads at that particular case. But, you know, looking at both iTunes and Android stores and so forth, and the explosion of other apps with other phones and so forth, we were really presented with this new opportunity, or you may even say challenge, because we had all this on-to-go inventory, both creating premium inventory and then remnant inventory, and we had to find out where does this really fit into the paradigm as we move forward. And then as a technical level, the app environment was still very fragmented and inconsistent as far as ad serving and rendering on different handheld devices and operating systems in the marketplace. So and even back in this time, you really had an environment where rich media was typically a one-off. It was still a hard-coded type program that was on-site type execution. So very hard for agencies to get the requirements that they needed. So it became very costly and really inefficient as a medium as a whole. So we knew as an industry at this given time that we were going to have to come up with some new concepts as we move forward if we were really going to be able to bring a scalable product to the marketplace for advertisers to obviously bring their clients into. All right. And really what ended up happening is when we look at it from an SDK perspective, as many of you know, in-app mobile advertising requires an SDK to support the display and functionality of that ad. And what we had was basically all these different operators in this ecosystem all really creating their own version of this. So what would work in one publisher would not be achieved within another. And it was a very wide spectrum of inventory with lack of transparency, and basically we just had all these independent silos, really creating some issues for us for standardizing something that we could not only develop on but also report on as an industry. So this was our big wake-up call as we move forward, and that was what really introduced our first standard into this scenario, being open rich media mobile advertising. Okay, this was later transitioned into what we now recognize as the Internet Advertising Bureau's mobile rich media ad interface definition. So I know I threw a couple of names out at you right there. So really, what does this mean? Well, basically what it was the introduction of basically excellence at scale. One common API for mobile rich media ads to run in a mobile app. With this, we were able to standardize the set of commands, design the work within HTML5 and JavaScript so that the rich media ads can communicate and do what they're meant to do. Okay, and by doing so, we were able to basically create a scenario where third-party type media companies started offering true ad authorizing tools, and then we specialized this so that we really had a sophisticated rich media ad unit that we could go to market with. Okay. Now what's interesting, this really just happened over the last couple of years, and this is why this is the main premise of today's call, why it's ready in prime time. The first report came out in 2010, and then basically the 2.0 version was completed last year in June. So that was probably the last little peg put back into that puzzle so that we are actually able to take this thing to market with scale and really provide an opportunity for advertisers. So in today's environment, we basically have the ability to run campaigns on a global scale through smartphones and tablets across multiple publishers with the ease of execution, and more importantly, from a reporting metric for advertisers nationwide and globally. So now that we've gone through basically the evolution of the product, how have we ended up at this stage of the game, let's just dive in, and a lot of these trends are going to be things that we've assumed or we've seen, and all I'm providing is basically the latest information on these so that everybody's moving forward from the same starting point. Okay, but basically we've seen PC growth stall over the last couple of years. Even Apple's come out with some discounts on their PCs and so forth that we have seen. But really this industry has stalled as a whole, and it's more so from the perspective of not only smartphones coming into the marketplace, but more importantly tablets. That's really what we're seeing the huge growth with over the past year and a half, 2 years, where instead of going out and buying another personal computer, we're buying a tablet and we're doing all of the things that we were able to basically do on a PC right there on that tablet with much more portability in the marketplace and so forth. From a mobile perspective, the big opportunity here is we surpassed that 50% threshold. So now 55% of Americans currently have a smartphone. This is providing all kinds of opportunity. I think this really speaks to, or one of the big contributing factors to this was really Apple's ability to go back and do that next generation or previous generations at lower discounted prices. So you could get that iPhone 5 for $49 or the iPhone 4 and 4S for $99 and that type of thing. So that's what's created a mass appeal type environment from an advertising standpoint, and that's why our engagement opportunities are that much higher nowadays as we can really bring this thing to scale. The big opportunity that we foresee here is when we look at 2014 is basically the idea that mobile will become the most common way to access the internet. This isn't just us speaking, but literally Google's already seen the trend, and they're expecting that by 2014 that will be the case. The concept that that mobile phone almost becomes a cursor between the physical and digital world, and we're able to access information through that throughout the day when we're on the go and so forth. We're even seeing it from a consumption perspective, from time spent listening with all major media that's out there. You could see within TV and in radio and in print, we're seeing some gradual declines in all of those specific mediums, while as you look at mobile, we're seeing some tremendous growth opportunities as we move forward. And it really includes all the elements of that mobile phone, everything from that simple text message right down to listening to music on that handheld device. The interesting thing, if we were to throw in Pandora in this particular case, they're now at around 67% of all people listening to Pandora are doing it on that mobile phone. So it's definitely a trend that everyone is seeing, and the growth is consistent across all the different elements on that phone. I'd say the big opportunity that we're seeing, at least in the last year, is just tablet explosion. We talked about the growth of people purchasing them. Now what we're really seeing is how they're utilizing them. And as you can see within this graph, you're seeing that computer usage spike during the day when we're at work and so forth. But now as that person gets home, they're in a relaxed state. They're catching up on maybe personal email, maybe social aspects of their life within Facebook, Twitter, and all those types of media outlets. But that tablet user just explodes in those evening hours along with mobile. But when you combine those two together, you can just see how people are utilizing these. And really from a marketing perspective and a brand perspective, specifically in that retail marketplace, we really see this as an opportunity as we move forward. The other reality from a mobile perspective is when we are out in stores, we are constantly engaging more information. That shopper is doing many more things on that mobile phone to not only research, but to interact with brands and products that are in specific store locations. So whether that is taking a picture and sharing it with somebody, scanning a barcode, maybe they're out just searching for a specific store and they're able to map that out on a location on that handheld device. Whatever it is, it definitely is adding to the shopping experience, and hopefully it's making a better, a higher closing ratio for purchasing products moving forward. We're already seeing it from a payment perspective within m-commerce. This is just one snapshot looking at PayPal, but as you can see, just since 2010, what an explosive amount of volume is increasing within this medium as a whole. One other point to really just point out, I think when we look at mobile advertising in a local online perspective, in 2011 we were doing about 6.3. By 2016, they're expecting this to be around 88%. This goes back to that Google point that I made a little bit earlier. It's that explosive opportunity of people being able to access information on that mini computer per se, which is that mobile device, and be able to capture data, search for information. This is what we are seeing as the true driver of this, and why this number we see growing exponentially here over the next couple of years. I might find that to be a little bit high, but at the same time, even if that's in the 60 to 70 range, the growth is really pretty inspiring. And then when we just look at it from a revenue perspective, this is just two little snapshots here. Let's look at 2012. You're doing 2.61. We're looking at, by 2016, about $11 billion in mobile. Okay, so really some extravagant growth here year to year as we move forward. And when you look at where it's coming from, all of the trends indicate all of these different ad units. Okay, and specifically we're talking about rich media today, but obviously all of these elements are encompassed within that rich media, whether it's a banner and a video. So really this is the direction that we're seeing it, and that's why we want to continue to explore it within today's presentation. So let's dive in a little bit just from the perspective of wetting the palate to a certain extent. We're going to look at a couple of just quick examples of some successful programs that have worked over the past couple of years. This is a Starbucks program where they basically had the opportunity, everyone has sort of that desire to be able to write on their own Starbucks cup as they get all their names put on it and so forth. So Starbucks thought they would take it to a new level with their Starbucks signature, and utilizing the mobile phone and tablet opportunity here of literally being able to touch a brand with your fingertip and be able to interact with it. And that's really what was the driving force behind this program. In this specific ad unit, they were able to literally select their Starbucks drink that they were interested in getting, and then once they received their cup, they're able to create their own design right on it. And then once they've decided what that design would be, they hit the submit button, and now that has been submitted into a signature gallery that can be evaluated by all of their customers within that signature gallery. So in this case, you went through that experience, you get to the end, you can either go and look at other examples of what other people have done, you could click on a video and watch a full overview of their new coffee that is out at that specific time, or literally we could take them to a specific mobile location on that handheld device. But very good interactive thing, but more importantly, really illustrating the fact that literally you can take your finger and touch a Starbucks cup and be able to do some things and interact with that brand. Groupon came out with a nice concept here, and I like it. It had a specific goal in mind, which was obviously to, in this case, download their app so that people could take advantage of their deals while they're on the go. Okay. In this particular case, they thought they would have fun with a little game, and this is the concept of whack a deal for awesome savings. Okay, so click the play game. All of a sudden, the deals will pop up. You're able to slap them down with your finger. So again, interacting with the fingertips onto a specific brand, and through the process of the game, you're saving money. So in this case, when you get to the end of that time frame, you were able to whack down 11 deals and you saved $769. So a great way to illustrate the savings potential within Groupon, and then we complement that by the idea that they can click on the Get Free Groupon download of their app, and now we're off and running, building out that app download. So let's dive in, and we'll look at this in a little bit more in detail. Those were just a couple of quick examples, but let's dive into all the different aspects of mobile-rich media and how you might use it in upcoming programs. Main differential that we're really looking at over the past couple of years is we've obviously been doing traditional banners, maybe that 320 by 50 banner or that 300 by 50 banner. That's really been in a static type environment. What we see within mobile-rich media is much more engagement opportunities. We see a good lift of about 40% in our ad campaign, specifically within our ad network or in any of the various exchanges that we work with as well. So it really is providing opportunity not only for delivering higher engagement, in the case of maybe awareness and loyalty, it also provides the ability to hit multiple channels, whether that's social, video, photo viewing, any of those different variables. The ability to share content is that much more evident because it's all happening within that ad unit per se. And then most importantly on a mobile phone is the idea that we can actually take them to a specific location. Within that ad unit, they can map out that closest location, which we'll show you here in a few minutes. But those are all of those elements, those simple things that, going back to my point that I brought up of that cursor between the digital and physical world, that's really what we're trying to do with our mobile engagement opportunities moving forward, and in this case with mobile-rich media. So let's dive in a little bit into detail as to different aspects and units that we can use in order to get take your brand to the marketplace. We utilize the Celtra mobile-rich media builder. It's used by many agencies across the country and major brands, so certainly look into it. But it's a first-in-class HTML5 rich media ad builder. Primarily what we're looking at is these three primary ad formats. We've been obviously doing the static banner for many years. We could take that static banner that we've always been doing and just make it animated and make it a little bit more dynamic by some sort of animation. Maybe that is a motorcycle zooming through, which we just developed out for Harley Davidson, or the ability to expand into a larger, a full screen type display, or in the case of an interstitial where the actual ad unit opens up over the entire publisher's screen. So these are the three main ad units that we will use in order to start this dialogue and engagement process, and provides a great launching platform as we dive into this a little bit deeper. Probably the most traditional ad units used is the branding and presentation. Basically the idea of bringing those photos to life, allowing people to engage your brand and filter through and see several different facets of that, that brand or product right on that mobile device. There's many different functions that we can do in order to do so. In this particular case, we're looking at a carousel type presentation where in this case it was a 3D type environment where we could scan up and down to move to different products, but then we could also swipe left to right or right to left in order to scan through different products that we would like more details in. Maybe we tap on the product that we want, and now we're opening that product up and we can see it in more detail and in a larger form. I'm going to walk through a couple of examples here in a few minutes, so don't get frustrated that you're not able to see this work in real time. A 360 view, obviously a very valuable tool for automotive companies that are in the marketplace. Gives us the ability to drag and spin a car around so that you can see it from every angle potential that you could think of, and then obviously all the elements that go around it for grabbing more information, maybe a social aspect or one of those other scenarios. The grid gallery is probably the most common that you've seen to date. Things have gotten more sophisticated since this, but obviously we open in this particular case, you got 4 to 6 different pictures that we could look at. We could even scan through more pictures, but every time you tap on one of them, it'll give you the full screen type view of that specific automobile in this particular case. From a swipey scenario, just using the power of the mobile phone and the ability to literally interact with a specific ad. In this case, we're able to literally swipe across the photos and scroll through several different options that are there, tap on maybe a movie, and we're able to watch that right in real time. A good example here also that this is a Spanish version of it, and obviously this could be run in Spanish channels within our mobile ad network or others that are in the marketplace. So we would obviously create 2 ad units in the case of this specific program. And then light table. I think this is probably one of the most popular as of late, where you have all of the images lined up across the bottom, and every one that you tap on it will bring into the full version within the larger frame. So let's dive in. I'm going to just show you a couple of quick demos here, but you're able to do this right on your mobile phone as well. A couple of different ways that you could access it. You just go on your mobile phone and go to demo.mktn.com. Give you all the examples by category that you might want to look at. It also provides you with the opportunity to look at some of our mobile websites that we've created. In complement to that, you can also do just text demo to 77,000. We'll send you the link, and you just tap the link and it opens up on your phone, or you're welcome to do the QR code scan that's on the screen right now. So from a video perspective, probably our most, I would say, successful ad unit that we use. As I talked earlier, mobile-rich media has taken us about 40% more engagement opportunity than that traditional static banner that we did before. Well, within the mobile-rich media universe, basically, video is about a 40% lift in that click-through rate. I think it's the concept of being able to kick back, just tap a button and let that product bring itself to that consumer really is the enticing thing. They don't have to go and hunt through different content and stuff and swipe through different variables in order to access information. It's allowing you basically to bring it to them. Mostly, I think in the U.S., where we look at it such a TV-rich environment where people are used to just receiving a quick 30-second commercial, and we're often providing them with a very well-published ad unit that they could look at. So, oh, you know what? I jumped ahead on you here. I'm going to get out of this real quick. I'm going to show you a couple of quick examples. Maybe I'll just include the video content in that example as well. So as I mentioned, go to demo.mktn.com and you're off and running. So here's the mobile rich media examples. You can open this up. It'll give you a list of all the different examples that we have in here. I'm going to give you just a quick one. This Jeep Cherokee one I believe is a good example. Not the coolest, sexiest ad that's ever been made, but what it does provide is a great demo of all the different resources that we have available. So if you look at click the video, let's watch the TV commercial. Just launches within that ad unit. We're off and running. I can go into the video gallery and now I can scan through different versions of the car and look at different photos that are associated with it. I can also go in and build my own and take a look at it in different color forms. I can also look at it from a 360 view, and I just take the car and I'm literally dragging it around with my finger. And then if I'm sold on it and I think it's a great idea, let's go build my own. And now I click this button and I'm off to the mobile website for Jeep on the handheld device. Okay, and now I can go through the process of creating my own specifically. But as you can see, even in their mobile website, very similar to what we were just running through within the mobile ad unit that was existing on that publisher's page, and they never have to leave that mobile app or mobile website in order to engage this specific brand in this particular case. So let's go back into here. I'm going to jump out of this and go back to the examples, but that was an automotive. Let me give you one more as far as this is that branding and presentation. I apologize, I had jumped ahead on you slightly there, but H&M, here's just another quick example of how we might be able to present different products that are within a specific store or retailer. This is just kind of a fun way to do it and match up a bikini top with a bikini bottom and that type of thing. Okay, but real fun, interactive way. But hey, I found that, create the set now, and now we're off and doing it. I could find a store specifically in my specific area, and since it's on the computer, I don't get that. Or I could share it in that particular case as well. And since I already dove into the video portion of it, let me give you just a couple of quick examples here while I have the phone and I'm out of the presentation deck. But I just gave you the example with Victoria's Secret, so let's pop into retail. I'm going to look at Victoria's Secret. This is just obviously a demo, but hey, I click this. And now as you can see, a very nice looking ad unit, and now I can click on the actual commercial within it. And now I'm watching that commercial right there. Obviously, it also has the opportunity to rotate it left and see it in full version. Okay, then I can go back and rotate it back to the right here in this case. Okay, so I'm done with that. I think another good example here is in the beverage category. I'm going to show you an Evian example, and you've probably seen this commercial, probably from a viral perspective more so than anything else. But record-breaking film of the babies all roller skating around. So obviously a very cool ad that was produced in this particular case from a TV perspective. Why not bring it to a mobile device and basically provide an extension to a traditional media buy that you might already have in the marketplace? Okay, but as you can see, real quick execution and a pretty seamless process for a user wanting to view the specific ad in this particular case. All right, so I'm going to jump back into the deck here. Another quick example, and I'll show you this at the end. I'm going to go and just open up a iPad simulator so that you can see a couple of these different examples. But as you can see in this case, Starbucks was catering towards a tablet type environment in this scenario, and as you can see, it provides us the opportunity to put some more content around that actual video and make it a little bit more personalized to that brand or service in that marketplace. And I'll show you an example of that at the end of the in a few slides here. The other capability, obviously, as I've gone back and forth with the scenario of utilizing that mobile phone as that cursor between the physical and digital world, this really becomes apparent when we're looking at direct response opportunities. The click of a banner, and now we're at a mobile website. But when we're out in the marketplace and we want maybe a quick call to action. Right on that ad, we're able to click and we're maybe making a phone call, click and we're actually grabbing an app, click and we're maybe building out a form submission that we could do for a specific contest, or in this case, maybe it's the scenario of having somebody contact them in regard to purchasing a Land Rover. But all of these, while they're not the sexiest things to do in a specific mobile ad, they are what users want out of that mobile experience. They didn't engage that brand on their mobile phone just to experience and go and explore a mobile website per se. They're going there to get specific information so they could potentially purchase that product that much quicker and that much more effectively. From a social media perspective, we're obviously doing all sorts of things within this right now. This just becomes another channel by which we can create more participation and so forth. So whether it's live feeds within the actual ad unit, or it's a multifaceted channel, which is down in that Pepsi example. Let me jump out real quick and I'll give you a quick example of what that looks like, as I think that that's probably one of the best ad units that I've seen to date, where Pepsi was able to, let me jump in here. They've just got so many things that you could potentially do from just that home screen of that Pepsi ad. So first, they kick off the ad unit's pretty cool. It's animated, so now I want to go and experience the Pepsi experience. But within this ad unit, I've got all these social aspects. I can also click a video, and now I'm watching Nicki Minaj within a video concept. Okay, so very high produced, very expensive ad unit they spent the money on, and now it's on people's handheld devices. Get out of that. But then I also have the ability, I have live feeds going on within Facebook and on Twitter. I have the ability to click and go to specific websites like Pepsi.com. I have an opportunity to go and maybe post a picture on Instagram. So all of this becomes right out of this one ad unit, almost as like a mini mobile web page to a certain extent, but it pops up instantaneously from the click of that one banner ad. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping in and out, but hopefully the examples have been helpful for you as you have been evaluating the different aspects. But obviously, again, go back and jump into our demo site and experience these with your own device. I mentioned earlier just the idea of being able to get information instantaneously, and I can't express this enough, mostly from a mapping scenario where we're literally able to open up an ad unit, tap a location, and in this particular case, as you could see, H&M literally has their logos popping up on a map as to where their locations are in that given city. So it's an essential part of anything that you're doing within mobile is the opportunity to have locations in a specific marketplace in the case of many retail providers that are out there. Gaming features, this goes back to the examples we talked about at the beginning with Starbucks and Groupon, but it is that interactive type atmosphere. How do you interact with that consumer and that brand, spend a little bit more time with that specific brand in these particular cases? As long as it's a fun, engaging brand or a game, they'll do it several times, and they'll potentially share that and send it on to other friends and so forth. So that's the main viral aspect that you're really looking at accomplishing within a lot of the gaming features and so forth. I'm going to just wrap up just our demo program with a couple of different tablet concepts that are out there, and I'm just going to swap out this simulator. And I'm going to move to iPad. And by the way, many of you are probably going, how do I get one of those on my computer? Just go to Apple, and they have these simulators in there if you do a search for a iOS simulator. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here. Let's go into the iPad section. And I think I'm just going to throw two quick examples here. If we look at Land Rover, one thing I like about this specific one is the social aspect of this program. As you can see, even within the ad unit itself, as it's running, we are seeing how many tweets are currently going on, photos that are currently available, videos, how many times people are interacting with this car in real time right now. I think that that's a real powerful point. It really shows relevance as far as immediacy and sort of that live feel of what's going on. You know what? My apologies here. I got to switch this to, I don't know, this ad unit, maybe it popped up incorrectly, but my apologies. I still think you can get the aspect of what we're looking at here, though. In this particular case, we're echoing what's already in the ad unit. Obviously, we can go and explore more within the car, but as you can see, we can even have the concept of swiping with our finger and looking at the different social aspects that are around the car currently. And it's constantly updating. Here's the Starbucks example that was in the presentation. In this particular case, you could see the ad unit that was maybe on some publishing partner that's out there. We click on the ad unit, and now we have a full-blown look at the website, and this is obviously built around all of the music. I click on this, and I'm watching the video within the frame that's on the actual ad, and then I can grab other videos that are in here at the same time. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of delay in pulling this up. It's a pretty good interactive tool in order to grab content around the specific campaign and so forth. Grab this. And now let me show you real quickly the Mercedes example, just so you can get an idea how that looks. In this particular one, they've really done some really nice things as far as just video around the actual concept. In this case, how does greatness take shape? So we click on this, and the car basically comes alive as right within the ad unit. So in this particular case, just like the TV ad that's out there, they just built that specific car, and now we're at the completion of it. The other nice thing about it is the idea that you could literally start looking at different parts of the car by just clicking on the next scenario here. Go inside the car. So a real nice ad, and I think really provides an excellent opportunity to really get a good glimpse at this car where you might not have seen it priorly. Okay, and that's all for the demos anyway. Okay. And then just to kind of recap from a reporting perspective, the nice thing is that all of this runs through our Celtra platform, and regardless of you using our mobile ad network or maybe you're using other exchanges that are out there, maybe it's AdMarble, maybe it's JumpTap, all of it runs through this same process, allowing basically real-time posting of any sort of metrics around the campaign, and we can even give you the ability to go in and have your own rights to go in and view how the campaign is performing in real time. Most clients just want a weekly update as to how it's performing, but certainly as we kick off a specific campaign, we're making nice tweaks to it here and there to make sure that we're optimizing as best as we can. Very important to have that day-to-day evaluation of how it's going. The one final thing I added in here was just that we constantly get data from Celtra as all of their ad units are compiled. We can even look at it by category. So not only what ad units are we building internally, but other agencies and brands around the country utilizing the Celtra platform. We can get at least metrics around what's working and what's not. Okay. In this case, what I'm showing you is the ad usage by category. So in the case of automotive, I'm going to just kind of pull that out of the whole picture here. If you look at 100% of them are using direct response. 63% of them were using branding and presentation elements that I had walked through a little bit earlier in the deck. About 82% were using video, and then another 27% were using location-based features. Now, of all of those that were used, what was actually engaged by the consumer? And I think that's the big differential. We're going to be able to show you this data on a quarterly basis so that you can use it in order to fine-tune your own specific campaigns. But in this particular case, you could see by far video was the one that was engaged the most, and that was sort of echoing what we were talking about a little bit earlier as the engagement opportunity that resides within video and how successful it is. So that ends basically the rich media presentation of what we wanted to accomplish today as far as an education process. Hey, what was the evolution of the actual product, what we have been seeing within trends, and then what are the different features that we could take to the marketplace for your specific brands and products. So obviously let us know if you need any follow-up material on that. The only thing I added here on the end is there's a lot of people attending today's call that are not currently Marketron mobile clients. I just want to make sure that you're aware of some of the support material that we can provide for you around any mobile advertising that you might be doing on a national basis. As far as services, we provide a full strategic process. If you have an upcoming campaign or an RFP and you would like our perspective on what that would be, we'll map it out in a storybook type fashion of what we would suggest for a specific campaign and how to specifically take it to the marketplace in a collaboration of many different mobile elements, whether that is mobile rich media that we just talked about, or that is display or a mobile website or SMS. Any of those different variables can be laid out and mapped out for you as you move forward. Also, we do have a creative team internally. They work out of our A-base and section of our office. That's why we throw that in there. But really any aspects of the mobile solution that you could be looking at, we have a creative team that can build out any of these different components for you on a scope of work type basis. And then obviously just from an ad unit perspective, we have the largest exclusive premium broadcast-based mobile ad network in the country, over 3,000 publishers, and these are local broadcasters, radio, TV, outdoor newspaper that are utilizing our platform to engage their listeners, viewers, and so forth. We're allowing you access to that inventory. Okay. Right now it's around 45 million exclusive mobile users. We'll go out and grab additional exchange partners and networks to round out specific buys so that we can get scale in individual markets. But for the most part, we will use this as our hub because this is where we get the best results from mobile campaigns due to the trust and resource of these specific publishers in the marketplace. As I mentioned, we can also go out and get our other exchange partners and premium publishers in the marketplace as well, and that rounds it up to another 200 million mobile users nationwide. So how does it basically work? Well, utilizing our mobile ad network, we're going to use our inventory first. In this case, it's maybe Kia, and we are targeting men 25-54 in a specific market, which is Denver in this particular case. So we'll hit local radio and TV stations, and then we'll expand that buy to hit specific channels that are targeting men 25-54 in this specific market. So it might show up on a sports report on USA Today, and it might also pop up as somebody is looking to locate Skyfall, maybe a movie time in the specific market. Okay, but as you can see, a nice cross-platform, multi-publishing mobile campaign for a specific client. Other support materials that we also provide, banner to website. So obviously we talked about the idea of just a specific banner, but the presentation obviously walked through concepts of doing that within a mobile-rich media ad unit. We could also take them to a specific mobile website, and that's what we build out for individual clients on a market-by-market basis or national clients. But any of these different components, there's all kinds of demos that are on that demo site that you can walk through, but basically the parameter behind this is the idea of less is more, providing that specific information so that person can make a determination on what they need right there and then. This really provides a more simplistic view. This is our mobile website builder, really a drag and drop type of scenario, and for advertising agencies that are out there, we also license this to you if you wanted to build your own mobile websites internally. The demo site and website, you can access all of these different examples by category in on your mobile phone. And then finally, just from a mobile CRM perspective, one thing that's nice about our platform is that everything ends on the mobile Marketron, the Marketron mobile platform. Now, that being, anybody that's registering for, per se, a contest online, maybe on a mobile website, maybe within a mobile-rich media ad campaign, or via text message, all of it filters or funnels to our platform so that it's in one location, so you can either select a winner or go back and market to these people as you move forward. And obviously we can go back and talk to them in a variety of different ways. Obviously it all depends on how we were gathering the information from the get-go, but let's go back and target by zip code, age, gender, any of those different variables, and we can do that. So finally, just from the perspective of getting started, if you are a mobile agency or you're a brand, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to support you, and just in order to engage us doesn't cost anything. We're willing to take a look at any campaign that you have. We'll provide you with a nice concept in a storybook type environment of concept that we would recommend for the needs that you have for an upcoming buy. Built on that concept, we'll go and build you that mobile-rich media ad, and then we can distribute that across various ad networks, including our own, and then we'll obviously optimize it moving forward. How do we tracking that from the get-go and making sure that those analytics are giving you the best optimization out of that specific campaign. And then just from a measurement perspective, our mobile ad network provides all kinds of different measurement models, but most of our ad buys are all made through a cost per thousand type basis. But if you have other variables that you're exploring, certainly let us know and we can evaluate that on a scope of work type project. And that is basically it. We appreciate you taking some time today. We're going to move on to additional questions. If this is the recorded version, we're going to drop off here, and you can feel free to just reach out via email and or phone call utilizing the contact information that's on the screen now.